I'm Nemo, and I'm playing against WMG Butchy, Weapons of Mass Gaming. Their channel should be in the description, in case you don't know who they are. And if you do indeed not know who they are, then you've been living under a cave, my son, and you need to go check them out, because those guys are hilarious. So as you can see, I'm saying, dang, I didn't want to pick this deck, because what happened here is that I was just done deck testing. I was just going to build my Pack Instinct deck, and I was like, you know, I'm not using any of the big guys in this deck, and this deck just really, it seems like a waste to not play big guys in a green deck. But that's the way I figured out the deck works best. But I was like, I'm gonna give these big guys one last chance, because it just feels wrong to do it, to not play any 6 drops or higher in a green deck. So I did give them one more chance. I put all of them in the deck, and I played 3. As you can see, we agreed to a best 2 out of 3. I was just testing all of these big guys in the deck and doing like 3 games. I was just done with that, and I'm like, yep, big guys don't belong in the deck, no use for them. And then Butchy invited me to play a game against him. So I'm like, yeah man, I'm gonna play a game. And he cancels my first drop, which I was expecting at this point. But yeah, so I'm taking myself out of my commentary. Where was I at with my story? Yeah, so he invited me to a game, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna play a game against Butchy. Awesome, cool stuff. So that's what I did. I quit the game I was in, and I immediately said yes, accept. And then of course I picked a different deck than Green Pack Instinct, because this is the only deck I don't have 60 in at the moment, because I was done, because I was testing these big guys. So, but rarely, occasionally in this game, it seems to glitch out and give you your other deck anyways. So that's what happened, and that's why I'm playing Pack Instinct with more than 60 cards against Butchy here. In case you were wondering, that was a really long explanation. But yeah, so basically what it comes down to is Butchy caught me unawares. He caught me with my pants down, and now we're gonna see if he can take my pants away from me. Enough pants jokes for you. So here I'm like, yeah, I've got the Prey Upon, so I gotta kill his Archaeomancer, so I'm really hoping to draw a land here. He's gonna get his Time Warp back, so he's gonna do some Time Warp shenanigans. And I don't draw land, so now well, he's tapped out. And I got Primordial Hydra, so I could just play Primordial Hydra here, but who knows how close he is to infinite turns. So maybe I really need to deal with this Archaeomancer. I don't know if he's got followed footsteps or anything, so I decide that indeed I'm gonna take care of this Archaeomancer. So I buff my guy up and then Prey Upon. Use Prey Upon to kill his Archaeomancer, just to be sure, because you never know with Archaeomancer. You gotta be safe. So that's what I do. I figure that's the more powerful move to make now that he's tapped out and he's primeval. I've got enough threats in my hand, as you can see, so I'm not too worried about him cancelling one of my threats yet again. But what I am worried about is not drawing land. So Butchy is going to Time Warp yet again. He's setting himself up to have a lot more land than me, and with all of this land comes the possibility to, for instance, play a Rite of Replication kicked when he needs it, stuff like that. So I'm not entirely happy about him getting all of these turns, but it's not completely terrible, because as you can see, he still doesn't have anything on the board. So he seems to be in a little bit of trouble, but I am also a little bit in trouble because I was drawing land the last turn. So at this point I'm like Primeval Titan or Vorapede, and I decided to play Vorapede because the Undying is unlikely to make a difference, as is the Vigilance. So in the end I decided that Primeval Titan is a bigger threat, so if he's gonna cancel one of them, then I'd rather he cancel Vorapede, if that makes sense. Makes sense to me. So he does indeed cancel Vorapede, and that's the second cancel used by Butchy. So I'm like, great, he doesn't have any cancels anymore, I still have 3 more threats in my hand. And then he plays Rite of Replication on my Vine Lasher Kudzu. And I'm like, well, just a 2-drop. I don't know if this is the strongest move to make, but then again, he doesn't know that I have more threats in my hand. So it is a blocker, and for all he knows, I could suddenly deal a lot of damage with this Final Executsu, because that's how the green deck works, you know. You got a lot of boost for you guys. So I guess he wants to feel safe in having a blocker, so can't completely blame him on that. And now he decides to return my Final Executsu to my hand. So now he has a Final Executsu and I don't, but I have a Primeval Titan, so I'm still not feeling too bad about this whole situation. I am not happy that he's still at 13 life though, and he already has 7 lands on the field, because you never want to be want to be slow in taking down crosswinds. And then he copies my Primeval Titan, and now he's in a really strong position, because Final Executsu and Primeval Titan is a really strong combination of cards, and he has them down and I don't. So I'm like, nice one, in fact. I remember what I said. No, I didn't. So I'm like, nice one, Butchy. You got me there. But then I draw Master of the Wild Hunt. So I'm like, what am I gonna play here? I could try and tap out for my Primeval Titan, but the thing is, what I think here is, he's used both his cancels. So if he's gonna counterspell me, then it's gotta be with mana leaks. So I want to play something that doesn't make me tap out. I want to be able to pay the mana leak cost so that he can't cancel anything I ever play anymore, you know? So that's why, yeah, I trade these Primeval Titans here. He pretty much has to because of his life total, but I know it's not happy for him. I forced the trade there because I didn't want him to be attacking with the Primeval Titan and getting his Final Executsu to be bigger. So yeah, that's why I decided to drop Master of the Wild Hunt, because if he can only drop 1 land now, and then his Final Executsu would be a 4/4, and I would be able to take it out with my Master of the Wild Hunt. Well, I'd be able to anyway if I can drop my Wolf pack, Howl of the Night pack. See, I'm zooming in on it for my future self so that I'll know the name. Because I knew I'd be forgetting the name of that card. So I'm like, yeah, zoom in so I know what I'm talking about. So I'm getting pretty nervous here, you know. I am. Last time I played against ITFC 101, or Ashley, as you may know him, who doesn't play a lot of Duels of the Planeswalkers on his channel anymore, but he used to in the previous game. Last time I played against another YouTube celebrity. Well, I was pretty nervous, so I was pretty nervous this time as well. But it helped that I didn't have to do live commentary. So he seems to be thinking about it for a long time. And there's the Followed Footsteps, which is the reason I took out his Archaeomancer. Mostly. Well, Bounce would have been bad too, but really the Followed Footsteps is what I was most afraid of. And he puts it on my Master of the Wild Hunt, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have more wolves faster than him still, so I can take out his Master of the Wild Hunts. I can keep taking him out, and it seems like he comes to the same conclusion, and thus decides to also replicate my Master of the Wild Hunt. So now I'm in bad shape, because I'm gonna get 1 wolf. Well, according to him, for what he knows, I'm in bad shape, because I'm gonna get 1 wolf, and then he's gonna get 2 wolves and be able to kill mine. But lucky for me, I have the perfect answer for this situation. I'm really like, oh wow, because it was a really good plan, but unfortunately for him, look at that. Look at how many wolves I got, and yeah, bye. That's kind of unfair here. Bah. Yes. So yeah, I was pretty much cheering because that was the perfect follow-up, and he's tapped out as well, so he tapped out to make sure that he'd be able to kill my Master of the Wild Hunt, and he can't even get that to work, and not only that, but he tapped out and played a bunch of wolves, so he's really in bad shape here. I was really lucky here, And yeah, as you can see, I'm telling him it was a good plan, because it was, but unlucky for him. You know, I had the answer. So, there's finally a Terran's Invocation. I'm thinking he top decked that, or I don't know, but... And that thing is too late, because I've got way too much land. But he's got a lot of blockers here. But yeah, the game is pretty much over, because he's got 4 blockers, I'm counting. And I think I'm going to count some more in my turn. Yeah, as you can see, I'm holding my cursors over my guys, trying to count damage. Pretty sure this is lethal, but I wanted to make sure. And yep, so I go in for the attack with everybody. And there it is, the GG from Butchy. But as you know, this is the best 2 out of 3, so we're going to see. Well, 1 more game or 2 more games. Who knows, right? We'll see, but that's 1 victory for me. Yeah. So, in the end, I was not happy that I had my big cards and my Pack Instinct deck, but in the end, the one of those did end up winning me the game. So I can't complain there, you know. For the kind of deck I was running at that point, I was really lucky. So, and as you can see, I threw out those first 2 hands because I didn't have enough lands, or I didn't have the right colors of lands. And I decided to keep this because I'm at 5. I'm at 6 cards and I don't want to go down to 5. I'm like, I don't know if he switched the deck, so I'm gonna tell him I switched because I was running more than 60 cards. But then I see that he drops a mountain and I'm like, okay, good. Never mind then. It doesn't matter. So, and I'm really, again, very lucky here to draw my planes. I was like, with this hand I could be in some serious trouble, and I still can't play my my 5-drop, my big 5-drop of lifelink, because I have this this land that isn't a hybrid mana. So that's, I kind of worried about that. As you can see I zoomed in on it, but it was even too fast for me to read the name. So as you can see, I'm really bad at remembering names of cards. So when I'm not doing live commentary, I have a lot of trouble with that. But there's a Searing Spear. I can read that off the top, but I actually knew that card. And I have a Mortify in my hand, and I have an Unmake, and that's Deathbringer Leash. So really, I only don't know. And what's this one? This land? I know the name, but I can't come up with it. Whatever. You know, I know all these names of these cards. It's just that I have trouble remembering them for some reason. So I'm like, well, playing against Burn, this deck is not strong against Burn, so what do I need? Shroud. And there it is. So I drop my Shroud artifact, but I'm like, he's gotta have to tap out pretty much for me to have a shot here. And there's the Flames of Blood hand. So he's going for my face, so I know he's got a good hand when he does stuff like that, you know. Although I know Flames of Blood hand doesn't, there's not much choice there, but still. He's seen, if I had the 2-1 lifelink vampire, then I would have played that by now. So yeah, he's not playing any guys, so my removal spells are really irrelevant here. So I'll just get another land, and I'm like, well, I can't do anything except just play my Deathbringer Leash. And then I draw Demonic Tutor. Yes sirree, I knew the name of that card. So I have Demonic Tutor in hand. I'm like, well, see, I'm not running the Signal or whatever it's called, the enchantment or artifact that is 2-cost that prevents damage from killing your non-common damage from killing your guys. I'm not running that card, guys, and this is one time where it really ends up hurting me, because I would have really liked to have had that card in this matchup. But as you can see, he's still going for my head as well. So even if I was able to protect my guys with that this turn, I wouldn't have dropped the guy. I would have just Demonic Tutor that thing, dropped it, and then be able to drop a guy later, and I would be at 9 still. So I would even be in a worse state, because he wouldn't have had to kill my Deathbringer Leash that turn. So In the end, I don't think it matters, but I would have liked to have had that card here. And now I'm like, well, yeah, I pretty much have to just demonic shooter up worship here. That's my choice. I'm gonna go for worship, and I'm gonna exile his Phoenix, and then I have to drop my lifelink guy, and I have to drop worship. I have to hope that he can't deal with me or my card before all of that happens. So I'm in a really bad spot, and I know he's gonna win this game, so I'm like, I might as well just tell him I'm not running that artifact, and that's why I'm losing. Although that's not really why I'm losing, but still, I'm sure he would have been confused that I didn't drop that. It's not in my deck because it only really helps against 3 of the decks. It does help a lot against Born of Flame though, I have to admit. But as you can see, I would have lost this game anyways, even if I did drop it. So yeah, that's my excuse. And Butchy takes down 1 game. That means we're gonna go to game 3 of this best out of 3. And I decide to go with Peacekeepers because it's another one of my decks that I really like to play. It's also a strong deck, but that's not why I pick it. I pick it because I like to play Peacekeepers a lot. But on the other hand, I probably like to play it because it's a strong deck, so take it as you will. I decide to take Peacekeepers, and then he's playing Celestial Light, and there's the 1/1 that gains him life whenever a guy drops on the field, and I'm like, well, I got a lot of guys that are gonna drop on the field, so dang it, that's gonna give him a lot of life gain. That is really going to give him a lot of life gain. So I'm not entirely happy about that. But what you gonna do, right? It's a 1-drop, so I can't really use removal spells on it either. So I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that he's going to gain a lot of life in this game. Yeah, those are gonna do a lot of work is what I say to him. So yeah, I'll attack because I'd like to trade here. And he is considering it, but I think he meant boring there, although I do have an O-ring in my hand, so yeah, a lot of life gain there. And look at this, he's got a 4/4 dude. So O-ring is gonna have to come down indeed, is what I'm thinking. I have to deal with that 4/4 guy, and he's feeling safe to attack me for 2 here. And I really wanted him to trade, which is why I attacked with my 2/1. But he seems to realize the same thing as me, is that he's just gonna gain so much life that all of my early game aggression is gonna be null and void and isn't gonna mean anything. So I'm on the defensive here. I don't know if I'm going to attack with my 2/1 here, but I'm not entirely sure. Well, yep, I guess I am attacking with my 2/1. And the reason I'm still attacking is because I want to make him think that he's going to be the defending player. I wanna make him defend from me, but he doesn't fall for it. He is attacking with 1/1s. So yeah, that's just how that life gain deck works. It's got a lot of aggression and gains a lot of life while it's aggressive. So if you're trying to be aggressive yourself, you're not doing much, you know? So now I'm like, well, this time I can attack without and it doesn't matter because I got something else to block his 1/1, so I can be aggressive and defensive. So that's kind of what I wanted. I do, even though I am a little bit on the defensive, I do want to keep him from 30 life, because you never know against the life gain deck. So that's why I do want to attack a little bit. But there's a Marshal's Anthem, and now his 1/1s are 2/2s, and his flyer is a 3/3, and all his guys are just bigger. So it's not a very happy occasion for me. But I've got Glorious Anthem of my own. So in the end it doesn't seem to matter that much. I'll attack with this guy. And the reason is because he's got first strike, so if he's going to double block, then I kill one of his guys and he doesn't kill one of mine. So I can safely attack with my free first striker. And the other ones I hang back with to block his, well, to prevent him from attacking me. I'm at 13 life, as you can see, and he's at funny 3 life, so even though for the most part I've been the aggressor, and only just a few turns ago he's forced me on the defensive, I am at there's a very big life total difference between us, and it's in his favor. And now he drops another flyer, so I'm like, shit, he's gonna kill me in 2 turns here. So yeah, so I drop Captain of the Watch because I realize the only way I'm gonna win now is to race him, regardless of the fact that I'm not gonna be able to because he's gaining so much life. I still have to try it. So that's the only thing I can do is to try and race him here, because he's got flyers and I don't. But then he blocks with his flyer. I'm a little bit confused here because I'm like, you can kill me pretty fast here. I've got how much damage exactly? 9, 12 plus 8. I got 12. Okay, I could have killed him in 2 turns, but he would have killed me first. Anyways, so he decides to use mass removal here. So yeah, I guess he wanted to be safe, but I was a little bit confused here because he was going to kill me before I was going to kill him. So mass removal didn't seem too logical to me here. But then he drops Baneslayer Angel and I'm like, yeah, of course. So I'm like, he probably had Baneslayer Angel already and he decided to just mass removal and then drop Baneslayer and pretty much guarantee the win. Unfortunately for him, I just drew the turn before, I just drew the one thing that can actually block a Baneslayer Angel. So now we're at an impasse and this is gonna take a while. So now he's got the White Sun Zenith and I'm guessing he misclicked. Now I get it. CMC. I was like, what does Metal Chris have to do with this? But it was misclick. Really, that MC confused me yesterday. But neither of us can attack, because if I attack then he gets in with his Baneslayer, and he can't attack because I've got a dude that just doesn't die when he and doesn't even let him gain the life off of attacking. So pretty happy there, but he's at 35 life. So he's getting close to being able to win with the big guy, and he has enough life to, if he gets the 1-drop, it'll be a 6/6. So I'm like, okay, raise the alarm because he's decking with everything here, and I do some pretty clever blocks here because I just double block his free freeze, because that means I lose a 2/2. He can only kill one of my guys and I kill one of his guys there. So even though his guys are free freeze and my guys are 2/2s, we still trade. So these were fortunate, these were good blocks for me. So I'm happy with that outcome, and now I can actually attack him. So that's pretty good. And I decide to keep that guy back anyways because I do want to drop. Because if he has any removal for my guy, then I would be dead. Now if he draws removal, then I would be dead. And I take him to 29 life here, which I didn't do on purpose, but I'm really happy that he's at 29 life here, because that 1 life difference is pretty important later on in this game. So I got no favorable attacks, he's got no favorable attacks, so we're both just sitting there doing nothing, twiddling our thumbs and waiting for a removal spell. And he draws another Baneslayer Angel. So I'm like, shit, but at least I can block him. And I drop another guy that's kind of irrelevant here. But there it is, another blocker at this point. I can't attack with my guys that soak up damage, because then he can kill me with his Baneslayers, or at least get in for some damage. And there's a Serra Ascendant. So now this is where I'm really, see, my cursor is immediately going to his life total. This is where I'm really happy that he's at 20 life, 9 life, and that he can't lifelink off of my guys, because if he has one more flyer, then I'm pretty much dead. I only have 2 flying blockers, and I can't even kill one of his flyers. So if he had 30 life here, then I would be in a lot more trouble than I am. But as it is, he's at 29 life. I especially can't attack here. He's looking for removal, and I'm like, me too. And there's another Serra Ascendant, so now I'm extremely happy that he's not at 30 life. I guess if he had Swords to Plowshares, he would probably be best off to just Swords to Plowshares one of his own guys. Although it really doesn't matter, because if he just has one attacker, then he's fine. But yeah, he would be able to kill me in one go if he just Swords to Plowshares his free token. So, but as it was, I thought he just meant he was looking for removal, and I was too. And he still hasn't drawn his removal, so still in there, and I draw some removal. Fiend Hunter. So I drop my Fiend Hunter, and I Fiend Hunter up one of his Baneslayers. So at this point, I'm especially happy that his Day of Judgment got rid of his life gain guys, gaining life when something enters the battlefield. So I was able to get rid of one of his Baneslayers, and he still can't attack because he just blocks me. There's no point. And if I attack with both, then he can attack with his Baneslayer, gain life, and yeah. So we're still at an impasse, and he's got another flyer for me. So I haven't made any progress in this game since the moment we've started being in this impasse. At this point, any attacks with this guy, I don't know why. The only boost I know of in his deck, I think he wants the life gain, but I've got a first strike, so maybe he just forgot about the first strike. But I'm thinking there, and the only boost I know of in his deck is Wave of Force, which gives it +2/+2, which could give it +1/+1 at that point, or whatever it's called, Wave. You know, the thing with cycling, and then oh, it's not cycling. Well, whatever. You know what card I'm talking about. And there's the other card that gives it +2/+0, I think, but that wouldn't matter because it's, well, that does give it lifelink, not first strike. So yeah, that wouldn't matter because I still have first strike. I'd still kill this guy before he would be able to lifelink. So I came to that conclusion and decided that I was safe in blocking the Serra Ascendant there. Still can't attack. I gotta admit, I was really getting impatient here. I wanted to attack. Every fiber in my being was telling me that, come on, attack, man. But I can't. There's no good attacks. There's just none. And I'm drawing lands, so I'm decided that there's nothing in my deck that needs me to have this much land on the table, so I'm gonna keep them in my hand. And I'm again going through it, and nope, no good attacks. There's nothing I can do here. If he manages to gain some life, then I'm dead. There's another Serra Ascendant. That's the third one so far, and he's still at 29 life. So yeah, lucky. I do have a lot of more flyers here, though, so he wouldn't be able to immediately kill me, but I would still be in a really bad spot if he ever gained 1 life here. So any life gain at all would do it for him, like just any life gain. And there's a Basilisk Scholar, but lucky for me, again, I've got these guys that can't be hurt. So if they can't be hurt, then he can't lifelink off of them. So even Basilisk Scholar doesn't matter here. And he is thinking about what he's going to put it on, and he decides to put it on that guy. And I'm like, that thing doesn't have first strike, does it? So still nothing. And there's Flicker-Wisp. So now I'm like, what can I do with Flicker-Wisp? What can I do with Flicker-Wisp? And I don't know if it's gonna happen here, but how long it's gonna take me. I'm thinking I can get rid of Martial's Anthem for the turn. So here's what I do. I attack with these two guys, and he must be really confused at this point. If my plan doesn't work, then I'm screwed. Then I pretty much screwed myself because he's gonna gain life. But he is thinking about blocking with his Baneslayer Angel here, and he does. And I'm really happy, because if he didn't block with his Baneslayer there, then I would be screwed, because then he would be able to gain life and his Sarah Ascendants would be bigger. But at least I took him down somewhat, and I got rid of his Martial's Anthem for a second there with Flicker Wisp, and that was enough to drop his Baneslayer Angel to a 5/5, which meant that the 5 damage I'd done to it was suddenly lethal to the Baneslayer Angel. So I got rid of his Baneslayer Angel there, and this means that I am now safe to attack with one of my flyers that can't make him gain life. So, and I'm thinking, can I attack with some more? And nope, I really can't. The only attacks I've got is one guy, because I gotta keep one back so he can't lifelink. But I do forget that Flicker Wisp is also a 5/3 at this point. There's Felidar Sovereign, so really, I mean, I've been so lucky this game for him to not have had that 1 life, because if he was at 30 life instead of 29 life, then this game would have been so different. But lucky for me, I happen to have taken him down to 29 life, and that 1 life point totally made the difference in this game. So I'm like, you know, screw it, I'll attack with Flicker Wisp as well. If he blocks it, he gains 3 life. But I kill one of his 3/5s. And I'm like, it's fine. At this point, I don't know. I could have just been attacking with all of my with the other elemental guy as well. See, I can't remember their names as well. Light Elemental, I think that's his name. So, Dawn Elemental, that's the name. So, if I was attacking with that guy as well, and he would attack back with his 3/5s, I wouldn't be in much trouble. I'd go to 1. I probably have to chump block though with a hawk, but you wouldn't want to do that, because then I can attack with all my hawks and stuff. So, I wouldn't be in too much trouble. And then I draw Geistharned Monk, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have flyers anyway, so yeah, whatever. I'll attack with all my flyers at this point, because Geistharned Monk is gonna give me 2 more flyers, so I'll be safe. There's no way he's gonna be able to kill me that turn, because he would need to draw 2 removal spells. I know he hasn't got a removal spell here, because he would have used it by now. He can kill one of my guys, gain 3, but in the end I deal enough damage that I think it's worth it. And now, for some reason, I dropped my last land there, so I don't know why I'm not keeping a land in my hand, but I am not keeping a land in my hand. So I'm just, he knows I got nothing else, but it doesn't matter, because here comes the lethal assault. And yeah, what else can I say about this? Well, I got me some Butchy pants. And there it is. Man, those were some good games. That was a lot of fun, Butchy. So thanks for the games indeed. And see you guys next time, and I will still be Nemo again. Well.